right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here on the Next Best Picture podcast, where I am talking with the director, co-writer of the film The Baltimorons, Jay Duplass, co-writer and star Michael Strassner, and star Liz Larsen. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thanks
Thank
for having
you
us,
for
Matt.
having us.
So this film had its world premiere at the South by Southwest Film Festival, where a lot of my colleagues were raving about it right away, saying how tender, quirky, sweet, funny the movie is. And I was wondering, when
Great question, Matt. Great question.
I was wondering when you're crafting a screenplay such as this, how much of that starts on the page and how much of that is found later on set or through rehearsal in terms of striking that balance between being sweet and sentimental, but also very funny.
Well, it definitely starts in Michael Strassner's heart and mind, and which matched up well with mine, when he first was telling me about himself and told me that the only reason he was sitting across from me is because the belt broke because he was holding a little bit of holiday weight. I was like, that's the exact tone of the movie that I'm going to make with you that you don't know about yet. That's what I was thinking in my head. So we both certainly share that pathos and not just desire for comedy, but like need for comedy, and in Michael's case, necessary for his survival. And I would say probably for Liz and myself also, gotta have comedy to survive. Um, so yeah, that tone is always what I'm looking for. Michael embodied it, Liz embodied it, and then as we were going day by day, we kept rewriting and just kept nudging towards the most dramatic stuff. I mean, the way that I think about the tone that I like to create is as funny as it can possibly be without breaking any dramatic reality. I want it to be first fundamentally dramaturgically sound, and then I want it to be as funny as possible without feeling like without audience feeling like we're pushing for jokes. I want the comedy to come from the characters and, you know, um, I mean, like, as Liz's character starts getting opened up throughout the movie, she becomes funnier as a person. Like, her character becomes funny. You realize, oh, this is a funny lady. Like, she's got some funny shit to say and to do. But the first half of the movie, she's hilarious as hell, just stiff arming the fuck out of Michael's character. So she knows how to play it and be smart and be tough. And that was funny too. So, I mean, one of my favorite moments that was improvised is when he tells her that he knows that she doesn't have holiday plans and that she's going to be going to dinner with him, and he leaves and she screams, "No!" And he goes, "Da-da-da-da-da, charge!" Those two beats, which I think are both in the trailer, both trailer moments were
Yeah.
improvised. So
Yeah.
That's nice. But the movie also, without giving away spoilers, also starts in a very dark place as well. Was that something that was found later in the process? Did the story always start with a moment like that as a way to get the character's arc shaped throughout the course of the film? Tell me about that development.
We were gonna open the movie in a different way,
Hmm.
and a day before we were about to shoot that scene, Jay was like, "I think we need to cut it," and I was like, "Oh, okay, man, that's like really scary."
giant scene at an improv on an improv stage.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay, like that, yeah." And then he was like, "Just sleep on it." And then the next morning, he was like, "It's cut," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, we're gonna open up with this." And at first, I think I was a little like, I don't know, not scared, but like I don't know, there were so many people taking care of me during because that is my origin story and how I got sober is that moment. And you know, like our associate producer Miriam was there and she kept on being like, "Are you okay?" Like, and I'm like, "I'm good. Like this is okay. Like I've worked through this stuff and I'm happy we're making not light of it because it's a very serious thing, but we're we're showing it not working and the aftermath of that moment as well.
Right.
I mean, there was even a guy on set who was like, "What kind of idiot couldn't kill himself?" And I was like, "Right here." That's me, bud. Uh, and I think we only did, I think like 4 or 5 takes of it, and that last one is the one we used.
Mm.
And I'm so happy it opens up with that because I feel like there's no other way the movie could open up.
And credit to you too. That's your body, not a stunt guy, taking that fall, right?
No, I did all my own
He hit
stunts.
that ground super hard all
Yeah.
6 times. And I just thought after the
Yeah.
first one, I was like, okay, we're going to the emergency room. That's what's happening. And I was like, you
Kidneys have
okay over there?
ruptured.
He's like, yeah, why? He said, yeah, why? Because, part of the origin story is that, Michael was sort of the Chris Farley of the Groundlings at that point in time. A lot of physical comedy and a lot of alcohol.
Yeah.
And he's tough as nails, man. I mean, he can do it all.
Well, and one time I didn't fall and I hit the wood paneling and I moved the structure of the house. So
You did.
that was not
Nice.
good. I hope it doesn't wreck Dave's resale value, but
Yeah.
um, yeah.
One of my favorite elements of this is somebody who has performed on stage before. I've done improv shows and such. That creative freedom that you feel and that feeling that it gives you as a performer, you feel it with the people you're sharing the stage with, you feel it with the audience. It's a hard feeling to describe. I've talked to so many people about it over the years, but Liz, I want to ask you specifically, like as a performer, how would you describe that euphoric feeling that one feels when you get in the zone of performing on stage?
It feels like flying. It
Hmm.
feels like flying. Performing in the movie felt like flying too. And
Hmm.
it's a different trajectory, but when you're in the zone of connecting with the material and telling the story, that's when it feels like you're elevated.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. I like that a lot. And so for you and Michael, I obviously Michael, because the screenplay started with you, you're cast first. How did Liz come in? Did you audition Liz? If so, did you read together? Tell me about like how you guys all came together.
Well, Jay had seen me in a musical version of. Jay had done a series called Transparent on Amazon, I think,
Hmm.
and it was brilliant, and he was beautiful, and I did a musical version of that series, and he came and saw it in LA, and he was very sweet and lovely, and then 6 months later, I was it 6 months? It might have been about 6 months later. He texted me and said he wanted to meet me for lunch. And would I meet him for lunch? And I said, sure. Now, this character that I played in Transparent was wild, was wacky and out there and gregarious and belting loud and all kinds of stuff, which is like the opposite of this character. So I meet with Jay for lunch and we don't talk about the business. We talk about, I just lost my father and Jay and my father had the same birthday. And we talked about how traumatic the pandemic was for us and how it uh, manifested in mental illness for some of our family or extended family, and very very difficult. And so then we were done, and it was great to talk to him. And he said, "So you want to make a movie?" And I said, "Yeah, okay, all right, nice to meet you." So I go home and I said to my husband, "I will never hear from this guy again." And 3 weeks later, we're on set shooting this movie. So that was
Yeah,
my story.
he says it very flippantly, like, "You want to make a movie?" And it's
Yeah,
like,
you want to make a movie?
yeah. But then the fact of the matter is he actually means it
Yeah,
and he gets it
and
done
calls you,
and calls you.
or his people call you, and all of a sudden you're there in Baltimore. It was
Well,
great.
you don't want to oversell it too much when you're going to be trouncing around Baltimore in the middle of the night during Christmas when it's 20 degrees, literally, and there's no trailer and there's no warming tent. We
It was the
really,
time of my life.
I would go back in a
me
heartbeat.
too.
To be
Me
that
too.
close
You
to
can't
Jay
beat it.
Duplass and Michael Strassner
Yeah.
on a crab boat in 0 degree weather,
With Jay
man,
behind camera because our DP got COVID.
got COVID.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah,
Never
Yeah.
fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, that dentist's mouth prop opener thing. I don't know what you call it. How
Oh,
long did you
what
have
is
to
it?
have that in there for?
Well, I actually had to have it until we took photos in December of 2024, so for 2025.
So we walked around
So
for a couple of years
yeah, I
with
had to
that.
walk around several months with it. It was the full day, and
Oof.
there's some really funny pictures of like me like behind I think it's right there, me behind monitor watching coverage with the mouth thing in.
Bring
Um,
that over. I've never seen
Yeah,
that.
I want to say it.
Not to mention, too, I can imagine like after a full
I
day of
forgot I'm
having
wearing
it in.
shorts.
Yeah.
Business on top, party on the bottom. This is Michael. This is Michael, the writer producer, making sure everything is just so.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, we can roll, or we can roll again. Let's go. Yeah.
That was
Um,
amazing.
but yeah, did not take it off. Just I mean, it was just that was such a fun day. That was like, I think, was that our second week? I can't even remember, but it was
Yeah,
early on.
that was
Too
later.
early.
That one had to be out of order, but it
What?
was wild. I mean, I think we shot like 10 pages that day. That's a huge sequence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that was just, yeah. I mean, it was that scene was so much fun, and I feel like it's what kind of kicks off the movie is just with like a ton of like this is going to be a fun comedy, have a heart, everything. So
Yeah,
love that scene.
absolutely. And speaking of which, a comedy set during the holidays, not unheard of thing. There's plenty of great holiday comedy films out there. But I felt like this movie really did avoid a lot of cliches that I normally tend to see in holiday themed films, which I appreciate because it makes it feel unique. It makes it stand out amongst the pack, if you will. But I'm curious to ask each of you. The premise of this movie basically is that two people's Christmases are essentially ruined and they end up discovering each other. I'm curious to know if either one of you have ever had in your life your Christmas plans just be completely axed due to any circumstance.
I,
I haven't had a Christmas, but Thanksgiving um was pretty bad because one year, like this is when I was still not my best self, and I think I showed up to my dad's Thanksgiving dressed as Batman, um, because he showed up to my seventh grade dressed as Spider-Man, um, and he was so embarrassed by it. So I was like, it was his 50th, and Thanksgiving at the same day, and I showed up not great in a Batman outfit, and I got thrown out. And so I ended up having dinner with my family friends, the Scullys, that Thanksgiving in a Batman outfit because I didn't have a change of clothes. And I was just like crying, being like, "You guys are so great! I love you so much.
Yeah.
Uh, who wants to be my Robin?" Uh, so that was
Michael, if you played Batman in a DC movie, is that DC? I can't
yeah,
tell, but
it's
in a DC movie, I think he'd be crying a lot and looking for Thanksgiving, looking to figure out where
fine
he can
Thanksgiving. Yeah,
roost
yeah,
at Thanksgiving.
exactly.
Well,
But yeah,
speaking
that's
of the world of DC comic books and all that, I feel like nowadays it's just so hard for independent films to find a voice out there. It's why I continue to keep reaching out to the lovely people who set this up today to talk about this and to do my best to at least get these films on people's radar as much as humanly possible. I think that in the world of independent film, especially, that's where you really get down to human characters, human emotions, human experiences in a way that, yes, entertainment has its place in the industry,
Of
but
course.
these are the stories that, for me, like really resonate and really matter the most. I'm just curious, like, just about general thoughts of where you guys feel, like, especially theatrical exhibition is at now for independent features, and do you guys see the future in a positive way, a negative way? I'm just curious about like just yeah, obviously we only have a couple minutes, but just where you feel we're at as an industry.
I mean, it's what I think about all the time, every day. Independent films are my favorite art form, and not just independent films, but just like, original movies, you know, told by filmmakers, that aren't properties or commodities. I look, it looks bleak, it feels bleak. People say independent films are off Broadway. We made a movie with two people who will be movie stars, but at the time we're not movie stars. And the the common thought is you're not going to make your money back, much less get a theatrical release. And we got both of those things. And we won the audience award at South by Southwest up against some other films that were extremely more expensive and high profile.
Hmm.
Um, and I think the most edifying thing that we all heard coming out of that movie theater is everyone was like, this is the movie I want on Saturday night to go see with my person. You know, if they were like this, I would be there. So I think, for a lot of reasons, there's just a lot of energy has been, a lot of independent filmmakers have gone to TV to make money, including myself. People are making stuff on TikTok because it's free. There's a million reasons to do it, but you know, I personally love the three act movie. It's to me my favorite piece of art that's ever been, the favorite form of art. And I'm just gonna do my best to continue to make really good ones if I can, and by any means necessary. So I just hope we can keep doing it. So please come and support it. And thank you, Matt, for supporting us in this way. Like your enthusiasm and support, it really means a lot.
I mean, that's why I do it. And thank you for saying that. And yes, for everyone that's listening right now, especially those of you who love warm, quirky comedy films set during the holidays, two people finding peace and love in a time where, maybe it's hard to find, hard to see, but the chance is always out there. I hope you guys seek this out. And thank you to three of you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
We appreciate you.
Take care.
September 5th and September 12th.
Yes.